thank you so much for being here tonight. You are all part of the Black Life series just by being in attendance, and we're so grateful and appreciative for your support and your participation and your attention. The series, just to say a couple words, it's called Black Life. We do an event every month. My name is Chika Okoye, and I'm one of the curators for this series. And our idea with this series is to allow a space for artists and thinkers and makers and doers of the African diaspora to create or to share what it is that they work on and care about here in this museum. And we just loosely program around the idea of a Black epistemology, so Black ways of knowing, which includes resistance, which includes art, which includes music, dance, which includes intellectual production, cultural production. So it's a wide variety. If you're interested in finding out more about this series, I send out an email once a month, and I'll send out a little sign up, and you can sign up. So enough about the series. Let me say something about tonight's event. So tonight we have We.Here.Now She Lives, and I'll just read a brief description of this event. The We.Here.Now performance series aims to highlight the embodied and internalized trauma of white supremacy enacted on Black bodies and social structures, as well as Black insistence on surviving and thriving in spite of it. This newest installment, She Lives, by EarthChild with Keisha Turner in collaboration with Nesbyth, Rieman, and Alexa Burrell, is an inquiry into complex layers of celebration, grief, tenderness, and untimely loss experienced by the Black women and femmes who fight for Black power and liberation. So let's turn our attention to We Here Now She Lives.
name was Benita. Say her name.
Benita.
Her name was Benita. Say her name.
Benita.
Say her name.
Benita.
She had warm, caring eyes and a big heart, and made a sweet potato pie that was out of this world. She survived great tragedy in her youth, including the losses of her mother to cancer, 2 sisters in a fire, and a brother in Staten Island ferry accident. She and her husband had 2 children and adopted several others. Her children saw her as a patient, compassionate mother. Her youngest son, Khalid, died by suicide after spending 3 years at Rikers Island prison on false allegations of stealing a backpack. She was a talented singer. In her younger years, she sang in a soul music trio called Lady T and the Chantels. Benita became an outspoken advocate for juvenile justice reform, even after getting stents in her arteries to help her weakened heart. She took pleasure in gardening, surrounding herself with fresh roses and lilies. She wanted an apology for what happened to her son, Khalid. She never got one. 2 days ago, the city of New York settled a lawsuit brought by Benita's family on behalf of her son, Khalid, paid $3 million for wrongful death. They say she died of a broken heart. They say she died of a broken heart. Her name was Erica. Say her name.
Erica.
Say her name.
Erica.
Her essence was loving and tender, yet fierce and bold. She was the epitome of unlocked and unlost. Her family described her as an unrelenting hard worker with a big heart, but she described herself as a daddy's girl. Her father, Eric, was saved by NYPD cops in Staten Island after being placed in a chokehold for selling loose cigarettes. She became a devoted activist for her father. Her friend Hurst says she jumped in, feet planted, head high, while her heart beating. She didn't hesitate to raise that raspy deep voice of hers, true to power, coarse and crafty, strong and assertive, but also depleted. She was the mother of 2 children, 7-year-old Alyssa and 4-month-old Eric, who she named after her father. She drew strength and empowerment for the protesters and activists that fought for justice for her father. The stresses of fighting for 3 years became too much 27, a heart attack claimed her life. Her name was Marielle. Say her name.
Marielle.
Say her name.
Marielle.
She was a black queer feminist warrior born and raised in Mara, one of the toughest favelas in Rio de Janeiro. She had fire in her eyes, an infectious smile, and often adorned her thick brown and gold curls with colorful head wraps. She started working at 11 years old to help her parents pay for her schooling, but she frequently missed classes to avoid shootouts and walking past dead bodies in the street. At 19, Marielle became a mother, giving birth to Liana Santos, her only child. She worked as a preschool teacher and raised her daughter on a minimum wage salary while studying social sciences on scholarship at Catholic University of Rio. Marielle was one of 2 black students at the school. In 2016, Marielle ran for office and won a seat on Rio's City Council after receiving the 5th highest vote total of more than 1,500 candidates. She used her platform to amplify the voices of Afro-Brazilians, LGBTQ+ people, women, single mothers, and poor communities. She and Monica, her partner of 14 years, lived in a spacious home in North Rio, where the walls were decorated with murals of Frida Kahlo and Angela Davis. The pair were due to be married this year. Marielle was part of a commission that monitored Brazil's federal military intervention, and on March 13th, she tweeted her criticism of the police violence that had recently killed Mateus Melo. On March 14th, after leaving an event called Young Black Women Moving Power Structures, Marielle was assassinated, shot 4 times through the tinted windows of her car. One of the suspects in her murder, a man with ties to the family of Brazil's current president, Bolsonaro, was just arrested on Tuesday. Even though she's gone, her partner, Monica, admits she's still waiting for her to come back any time now.
This whole, am I on? Yeah, this proscenium stage setup is something else, huh? It creates a whole illusion that I'm way over here and y'all are way over there. Like nothing that happened on this stage in this space has anything to do with you. And we both know that that's just not true. So I'm going to invite you all into a little bit of a practice to come into our heart space. In the yoga tradition, we have 7 major energy centers in the body. You may know them as the chakras. And the heart is so important because it connects the upper 3. It's kind of like our thoughts, things that are intangible, down into the lower 3, which is about the physical plane. And we talk about things that are challenging, particularly violence against Black femmes, and the various ways that can look. It's so easy to stay up here. We can think, oh, those poor people. And it takes us out of our hearts, that bridge down into those lower 3 energy centers. We come to the place of, okay, well, what are we going to do about it? So I'm going to invite you to sit in a way that feels good for you if you're not already. I'm going to take a mudra, or a hand gesture. And this hand gesture is called Hridaya mudra. And it's a hand gesture that helps us to unburden the heart. So you can take your ring finger, you're going to bring it right to the center of your palm. You take your middle finger and index fingers, touch it to the tips of your thumb. You place that face up on your thighs. You can stay right here, or you can bring your hands to your heart. Whichever of those work best for your body. And then I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and feel into your heart space. Feel what you're feeling. Maybe name 1 or 2 adjectives for your own self. And if you're not feeling anything, I want you to also notice that. I want you to sit with that. And I invite you to keep your eyes closed. There are a few things I want to share with you. I want to read to you. This is from Kristen A. Smith, who's a professor at University of Texas at Austin. She wrote this for the PBS NewsHour. So again, you're just listening, feeling into your heart. Joselita de Souza, the mother of a 16-year-old boy who was gunned down and killed when the police ambushed the car he was riding in with his friends in Rio de Janeiro in 2015. Less than a year after her son's death, de Souza died of what her family members said was sadness. After Roberto was killed, she stopped eating everything but soup, developed a severe case of anemia, and passed away from its complications. This is from the New York Times, written by John Elegant. She lay curled in bed for days, paralyzed by the stresses of a life that she felt had chosen her as much as she had chosen it. About 3 years earlier, the police killing of Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri, had spurred Ashley Yates into activism. She would evolve from street protester in her hometown of St. Louis to Black Lives Matter organizer in Oakland. But Miss Yates would also feel the pressures of a job that seemed unrelenting, responding repeatedly to the deaths of Black residents and communities across America, struggling to win policy reforms that would benefit Black people, and rallying others to support her causes. And then, as last year wound down, and Miss Yates felt so depressed that she could not get out of bed. I'm sorry, one more from the PBS NewsHour, please. The links between stress and disease are clear and corroborated. Just consider the connections between stress and cancer. The impact stress has on Black women is acute. Black women already exhibit signs of accelerated aging due to the stress of gendered racism in our everyday lives. One study found that at ages 49 to 55, Black women are 7.5 years biologically older than white women. If your eyes have been closed, you can open them now. So yeah, that's a reality. I'm not here to, I'm not on some kind of soapbox and saying, life as a Black woman is so terrible. I love being a Black woman. I wouldn't have it any other way. And also, it's time for us to do something about it. Yeah. We can't read articles, we can't listen to our news programs and shake our heads and keep going along with our everyday lives. So tonight, we are going to take action. We, that includes y'all. So I need your help to stem the tide of Black women dying from primary and secondary violence, the violence that is racism, the violence that is white supremacist capitalism. We're about to turn the tide tonight by channeling our collective energies. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so if you are a person that identifies as man, male, anywhere along the masculine spectrum, I'm going to ask you to come down for me. I have something for you. You can walk down the large stairs. You can come down the stairs along the side here. Just be safe, be careful. You can come stand on the side. You are a person that identifies as white or white passing. I ask you to come down and join us on stage. There's space. You can come on the sides. And if you are a person that identifies as a non-Black person of color, please come join us on the stage. Okay. So let's see. So you might notice we have an altar to Benita Browder, Erica Garner, Maria Blanco. So we're going to face them. So I'm going to stand here, and you're going to face, and you can spread out. We got all this room, so use your space. Okay. I might even stand up here so you can see me, because I'm kind of short. Okay, so has everyone here, is everybody familiar with the game Simon Says? Has everybody played that before? No. Oh. Simon Says is a game where someone like is designated as Simon, and then when you say Simon says do an action, then you have to repeat that action. But we're not going to play Simon Says. We're going to play Black Woman Says. I don't know So, Black Woman says, stretch your fingertips towards the sky. Black Woman says, bring your hands down. Black Woman says, close your eyes. Black Woman says, open your eyes really wide. Black Woman says, take a look around at the people that you're standing near. Black Woman says, face the altar. Black Woman says, take your hands and just kind of wipe your eyes, clean your eyes. This is a really good one for folks who don't see color. Bring your hands down. Black Woman says, tap your heart center. This is great for activating compassion or a lack thereof. Really tapping that heart center. Black Woman says, start to activate your hands. You can open and close them. You can wiggle your fingers. Black Woman says, shake your hands out. Black Woman says, stop. Black Woman says, say, no more.
No more.
Black Woman says, say, no more.
No more.
Black Woman says, say, I will stem the tide of Black violence against femmes.
I will stem the tide against Black violence against
Black Woman says, say, I will stem the violence against Black femmes.
I will stem the violence against Black femmes.
Let me say it one more time. Black Woman says, say, me, this person right here. You can touch your heart. Yeah. I will stem the violence against Black femmes. Black Woman says, look down on the floor and take a look at those purple petals. Black Woman says, please grab a petal from the floor, or if grabbing a petal from the floor is a challenge for you, maybe you will get a friend to grab one for you. Black Woman says, take a look at this petal in your hand. Black Woman says, go into your heart space and your mind space, the bridge to your heart space, and your gut space. And think of, at the very least, one sacrifice that you might make in your own life to make the world a safer place for Black femmes. One sacrifice, at least one sacrifice you might make in your own life to make the world safer for Black femmes, or one action that you might take to make the world safer for Black femmes. But when you have it, Black Woman says, whisper the words. I will please use your voice if you're able to whisper what that is into your petal. Black Woman says, find a neighbor and share what you whispered into your petal. Hi, friends. Yes, please make a single file line starting here, closest to the altar, and then going straight back. You might need to curve around. We'll make a single file line. So we are about to make a collective offering to Black femmes. So we're going to start by, the offering starts at this altar that is specifically dedicated to Benita Browder, to Erica Garner, to Maria Lucanco. And we place these offerings on this altar that no other Black femmes meet in a timely end, like our sisters and mothers on this altar. So something I neglected to share, there's actually another person in this piece. Her name is Amber Julian. Some of you may know her. And in the physical and emotional labor of this piece, she got incredibly ill and was not able to be here tonight. So this piece takes a toll on our bodies. Sorry, not this piece. This piece does take a toll on our bodies. And this piece also, systemic violence, centuries of violence, centuries of white supremacist capitalism takes a toll on our bodies and our spirits. So what's typical is that Black femmes are often supporting one another, because often if we don't, no one else will. So I'm calling on those folks that don't identify as Black femmes to step up and step into action to support us, so that we don't meet an untimely end. So one way that you'll do that is, one at a time, you'll place your pedal, the action, the vow that you made. This is the vow that you made, and we want to make. You'll place it on the altar on behalf of Black femmes everywhere. Taking a promise beyond these doors. This is not a performance, this is ritual. You'll go beyond these doors and hopefully you will live differently. Because the survival of Black femmes depends on you living differently. And then you will get, when you place your pedal, you'll get an invoice. And the invoice will have ways that you can financially support the people that supported this piece. Because, again, this violence takes a toll on our mental and physical health. We need support to see therapists, physical therapists and mental health therapists. We need support to stay in our homes. Because being an activist, an artist, causes so many of our sisters to meet in a timely end. And again, I would like for us not to be. So one at a time, Black woman says, place your pedal, your offering on the altar.
Thank you.